everybody, it's Calxiyn and Hunter here. If you guys want to hear more about Genlock's dubious ongoings, you guys should subscribe. Become patrons over on Patreon to support the channel. Follow me on social media. Take a look at my blue light filter glasses, which is why it looks weird. I don't usually wear them while we're actually recording, but here we are. So yeah, that thing called Genlock. We're here, but is this good news? It's gonna depend on your perspective. So we're gonna get into all of the news in a minute, but just a quick a couple hot takes, okay? Lots of people are not happy. Like, some people are happy, lots of people are not happy for multiple different reasons.
I feel like you primarily follow unhappy people on Twitter.
Not that Genlock is getting a season 2. That's not what they're unhappy about. They're unhappy about how season 2 is being distributed to the masses. Some of them are unhappy about the season 2 part, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, let's report on the news and we'll talk about the icky things later. Alright, so this was the first part, okay? So, let the good times roll again. Genlock Season 2 is coming to HBO Max, and so someone animated this, apparently. Like, somebody quote tweeted it, so this is new animation, and all that stuff, and so you guys can see. Yeah, so this was the tweet that said it. I'm not gonna read a bunch of people's, like, Twitter messages. I'm just showing you guys there was a response. I wish it showed how many comments there were. Like, yeah. It's not showing that right here for some reason. Like, it's not showing it on our computers. But yeah, you guys can sort of see that people are just not happy. Like, they're just not happy, sis. Obviously, I didn't scroll all the way down. Some people are unhappy about the season 2 announcement. Some people are not happy with HBO Max. But what is HBO Max, okay? So there was this article. Okay, it's getting an HBO Max premiere. We're not going to open the whole thing, but basically HBO Max is getting it 90 days before the Rooster Teeth site. 90 days! That's 3 months before the Rooster Teeth site. Okay, so here's the problem from my perspective. After RTX, okay, because of things at RTX, I paid for the highest first membership possible, okay? The highest one that you can get for an entire year. That's over $150 US money, I'm pretty sure, unless I paid it, like, then it's either $100 US or 100 Canadian, and $100 US is like 250 Canadian or something like that. I'm just saying, it's a little high. 230, 220, like I don't know, still. Like, it's still like, there are things going on here. So, I know that they did not promise season 2 at RTX, right? Okay, so I'm not like, guys, they promised us this and now we're not getting it, but what is the fucking point of being a first member if you do not get things first, okay? Like, it feels like a slap in the face to me and to other fans because it's like, oh, we supported you during this rough season 1, and now you're fucking going off and, like, fucking with HBO, and I'm sure HBO gave them funding, and that's why the show can continue, okay? But people are making that argument, and that argument's so weird to me. Like, oh, HBO funded the show, like, they can do whatever they want with it because it's, like, their show, like, to distribute now or whatever. But I'm like, Warner Media owns HBO Max and Rooster Teeth. And so it's like, this would be like, to me, if just Disney was like, I don't know how to explain it. I explained a weird analogy with Hunter, but I was like, it would be like if, for some reason, Disney World was funding something with Disney Cruise, and then people were like, well, Disney World can do whatever they want. Like, you know, they're funding the Disney Cruise, and I'm like, but it's all fucking Disney. They all own everything, so it doesn't make, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't have to do this. But if it was Sony, like, say Sony was funding it, or something, I don't know. I don't know how much Warner Brother owns, but I don't think they own Sony. Like, let's just say Sony was funding it, and they wanted it on Funimation. No. I would totally understand that, because that's, like, outside money, okay? And so, yeah, sure. They can do whatever they want. Like, if Sony funded Genlock and they wanted to put it on Funimation for 90 days, I'd be like, sure, cool, whatever. But I'm like, this is inside of your own company already. And so it's like, it's all the same money. You all have the same money. And I know, like, we don't know everything about the business, but here's my sort of hot take. They want Genlock to basically hold Genlock hostage, if there are any hardcore Genlock fans left after what I've been seeing today, you know, to get them on HBO Max and try to get them addicted to another HBO show to keep their subscription. Like, lots of subscription models sort of use this, like Netflix. Like, I can't think of a specific example, but Netflix had a couple shows for a while that like people joined just for those shows, and then they just got down the Netflix rabbit hole. Or I've done that even with Amazon Prime. Like Amazon Prime had House MD, which I liked. It was a really good show. And then, you know, eventually I stayed and watched other like Amazon related situations. But it's sort of like, what does HBO have? Really? Like, what does HBO fucking have? Okay.
I feel like this
so that's number one. Okay, number two. You know what's the other slap in the face for the rest of us? And I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna show you guys right now. Okay? Hunter and I are one of the Ruby YouTubers that really tried to support Genlock. And look at this fucking shit, okay? Coming to early 2020, for you Americans, that's great, but Canadian launch unclear. And if you read this article, you guys won't understand if you're not Canadian, but there's a bunch of like, oh, like Bell Media owns Crave TV and HBO shows are on Crave TV and all this bullshit. And I'm just like, we may not even get this fucking show in our country because it's on HBO Max, and so who knows who has the distributing rights everywhere else in the world. And so that makes me so angry if they're gonna put it on this app that we can't even buy. And that's the only time that I advocate for piracy, guys. Like, you guys know that we have a Crunchyroll subscription, we have a Funimation subscription, and I buy my own music, all of this stuff. But if something is not available to me and I cannot actually find it in my own country, that's what people resort to, piracy. And you guys kind of have to think about, America is not the only country that's important here. Like, lots of Japanese fans really like Genlock and Ruby. And so if you cut off the rest of the world, is that really gonna make you the maximum amount of money? And so that just makes me mad. And I looked, okay, and so this is HBO Canada, and they're even like, HBO Canada, Crave TV is now the exclusive home of HBO in Canada. And I'm like, okay, great. So first question is like, who the fuck is buying HBO Max? But now it's like, who the fuck is buying Crave TV? What the fuck is on Crave TV? What the fuck is on Crave TV, Hunter? Tell us.
Bunch of movies. You can see Seinfeld on there. You can get a lot of like Showtime, and with HBO you get the HBO stuff. And how you said that, like, who gives a shit about HBO? A lot of people care about HBO.
They have a lot of
incredibly famous and successful shows. They have Euphoria, they have Chernobyl, they have the Watchmen series.
I think the majority of like after Game of Thrones finished, like deflation.
They have
like a little sad balloon, because like Game of Thrones sort of entered the mainstream and probably got people that would not usually pay for HBO.
But HBO has existed and been popular for a long time before
Hunter,
that.
I'm just saying, like, the most popular thing they've ever had is probably Game of Thrones. You're not gonna argue with me on that, are you?
I'm not arguing with on that, but
great.
I'm saying, like, it will survive.
There's one more thing, and so let's go back over here. Okay, here's the other problem, right? So when Ruby was like off in Japan somewhere, and I mean like in terms of the rights, like when they were airing Ruby on, I guess, Japanese television, Japanese viewers could not access the Rooster Teeth site. Like, they couldn't watch it on Rooster Teeth. So the valid alternative that I see to this, because I have two solutions, okay? I'm not just here to bitch. I have two solutions. One, apparently with Verve, if you have a Verve membership, you get a free, like, Rooster Teeth membership. Like, you can link up your accounts and get to watch stuff on
available in Canada.
No, it's not. But they could do something similar with HBO Max, where if you already paid $150 for the entire year, like I did, for a first membership, okay, you can link your accounts. I think that would be a very valid thing for them to do, because they already do it with Verve, okay? And you want people to basically go on your streaming service so they get addicted to Genlock, but after Genlock's over, they stick around and get addicted to other things. Does that make sense? Like, that's their plan. You would get a lot more people if you had that account link. And yeah, you wouldn't get their money immediately, but that would be a better show of good faith to the fans. Because I can't find anyone who's fucking like, yeah, baby, HBO Max! Like, I can't find anyone that's saying that right now. Just saying. But yeah, doing the account link, that makes sense. Because I would personally, like, if it ever comes out in fucking Canada, which is the second thing I'll talk about in a minute, if it comes out in Canada, yeah, I would be willing to download it or make an account or whatever, if I could link my Rooster Teeth account, which I already paid $150 for. And I'm telling you guys, like, straight up, I am never going to buy any subscription in bulk ever again, okay? Because I did that because I wanted to support Rooster Teeth. I wanted to support what they were doing, especially after RTX and things I had heard at RTX, and I feel very screwed over because one of the major things that they produce will not be on the Rooster Teeth site for 90 fucking days. So yeah.
But they also didn't promise that it was
I know, and I said that already. They didn't promise, but I'm saying, like, what else, like... It's like if they, and Arnold hypothetically, like, what if they moved Ruby and, like, presented that question on HBO Max for 90 days, right? So here's the other thing, okay?
I feel like you'd enjoy HBO's fine programming of Euphoria.
What they can do is that Americans can have it fucking region locked or whatever.
And I'm sure HBO is listening to you intently right now for business advice. I hope
somebody is. I'm saying what they could do is that they could region lock the Americans, but let the rest of us watch it on the Rooster Teeth website. Okay, like they did, it's basically the reverse of what they did to the Japanese viewers. The Japanese viewers couldn't watch Ruby, and they couldn't watch Genlock, alright, because it was like locked for them. Hey, you can't watch this in your country. So, if HBO has the rights in America, but HBO isn't planning to launch the fucking app in the UK or in Australia or Canada, whatever, put it on the Rooster Teeth website and make the Americans do the 90-day wait if they really feel like it. But here's the thing, okay? Again, I don't advocate for piracy, but if that's the only way that I'm gonna be able to watch this fucking show, that is the way, that is how I'm gonna watch it. Like, what else are we supposed to do? And I've talked to a couple of YouTubers already. They're saying that they would just wait until it's on the RT site because they're not gonna play HBO's fucking game. But
also because you will get content striked pretty bad, I'd imagine, for HBO.
I don't know, like, it's still Rooster Teeth's intellectual property, so I think that they still control, like, it's just, that's another big question. And so yeah, we may have to wait to post reactions and stuff, which I don't mind. Like, we could record our reactions so we're caught up with the episodes, but just not upload them. Does that make sense? But some people are just gonna wait like cold turkey and not watch it until it's on the RT site. We could just illegally see it and do our reactions and then, you know, keep them until the time sort of comes. Because at the end of the day, if nobody else posts their reaction and we're the only ones that does it, like, that's not gonna work algorithm-wise, and so I don't mind waiting, but it's just sort of like, how are we gonna watch this, sis? Like, how are we gonna watch this show? And so I just want to show you guys a couple tweets of people, just people. So Arnold posted this on Twitter, okay, and Arnold and I at this point, we just share one brain cell, and I'm not gonna read all of it, but he basically thinks the same thing I am. It's not just him, it's just the Ruby YouTubers in general. Like, we do have a voice in the community. Like, if, you know, individually, we only have a certain amount of subscribers, but if we're all talking about something together, and that's the first thing people see, that is the sort of power of the situation. And I totally agree that it does feel tainted, especially because of the stuff that Gray did and the stuff that we heard about Gray and that we reported on Gray and the stuff after, which I'll kind of get into at the end. But if you guys have probably seen that video by now. And so, yeah, like, I just think that it's tainted for that reason, but I have the same struggle as Arnold, where it's like, so many people must be working on this and they don't deserve, like, they deserve their work to be seen because it's still their work. Like, it's a team effort. It's not just him. But at the same time, like, if he's involved with the show in any capacity, I feel like it's gonna be weird. Like, if he's just writing and submitting scripts or whatever, like, I guess it's okay, like, because he's not directing the animation. He should not be near the animators ever again, like, considering things that we know. But it's sort of like, if he's still writing, what justice is that? Like, he didn't get any justice. He wasn't punished for his bad behavior. He's right back on the show again. And there are so many talented writers out there. Like, you could have literally anyone at this point. Literally anyone else write Genlock. Genlock is not so fucking unique and, like, big brain and confusing that somebody else couldn't take it and run with it. You know what I mean?
I'm never one for auteur, but I guess in the conversation of whether or not, like, it's tainted, I mean, that's true. If you notice in the trends tag, we have Harvey Weinstein here. A lot of people, maybe, like, not to say that they're, you know, crimes are similar. They're not, allegedly.
Allegedly. What Gray allegedly did, apparently.
Their crimes are not really comparable to one another, but it does make you maybe reconsider it. It's tainted. You know, it's the correct wording.
And again, what Gray allegedly did, okay, that's what we said in the video. How many allegedlys do we have to put in here so they don't sue us? But anyway, that's like the first thing, is that the gray stuff feels fucking icky. Okay, and if he's involved with the show, it's still gonna be icky, and I'm gonna be like, Rooster Teeth, what the fuck? Like, after everything, like, and, you know, we praised sort of, like, Matt and whatever for, like, in that video, we sort of talked about, like, storming into the animation studio and setting things right. Like, this isn't setting things right if you're going right back to where you were before.
But then
he's
again,
not the animation
we
department head,
don't know.
but still.
He's not. It's not like they've
We
announced
don't
any of
know, but he's tweeting
So don't get
things.
angry.
I'm not angry about that yet. I'm just concerned. Does
You
that
sound
make sense?
angry.
I'm just concerned. Like, I'm
I
aggressively
think that
concerned.
he's not involved in it, but he cares about it.
Okay.
And he did create it, so that's reasonable, but he's not currently, as far as we know, involved.
I know.
Then
I'm just
again,
saying,
tomorrow
I'm concerned
we could
about
make
him
an update
being
video.
involved. That's what I'm saying. Here's number 2, okay? Wasn't the whole point of first membership price increase to enable you to stand on your own? Yeah, that $150 that I paid for Rooster Teeth. I think that, like, Arnold's right. Nobody's forcing us to get HBO Max, right? But there's all of this other stuff, and Arnold brings up, like, HBO and Game of Thrones and all that stuff. But yeah, I want to support Rooster Teeth too, but it's just this situation is just not ideal and messy, and I feel like obviously it's nothing personal, clearly.
Are you sure?
It's nothing
because
personal.
You liked and retweeted every single one of those tweets.
I know, but it's like the fact that the HBO app may not even be in Canada has me fucking reeling. When we're one of the people that made, like, the most videos about Genlock and trying to get people to watch Genlock. I'm not saying we're the only ones, but we were one of the ones, and we're getting fucked, Hunter.
Maybe
we're getting fucked.
Maybe just fundamentally we're chumps for being free advertising.
Yeah, I know. And so Unicorn of War, they did this. Yeah. And that was interesting for Thomas, and Thomas was just like, fuck AT&T, which is like, okay. But yeah, that's the only sort of takes that I mean, there's also my takes. You guys can read my takes if you particularly feel like it. But yeah, I do think it's a good idea to link your account if that's something that they do on Verve, because a couple people said that they do that on Verve. But yeah, I was so, like, livid somewhere because I found out the Canada thing, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I guess I should go fuck myself then. But yeah, I do hope that they fix the other region stuff, because it would really suck for the rest of the world if only America has Genlock for 90 days exclusive, and Japan and us, and we're all just like, well now, like, what are we supposed to do? Like, what are we supposed to do?
If it makes you feel any better, they might have HBO Max, but we have universal healthcare.
Oh, man, Hunter. So yeah, that's basically everything. Obviously, this is like 10% reporting on a new season and like 90% being upsetty. I guess this means we have to get back to the Genlock comic at some point, even though it's garbage, because that's the in-between to season 2.
A little hostile.
I'm sorry. Did you see how they did Chase's hair, Hunter? I still think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, again.
Hey, can I say something kind of controversial?
The biggest problem is HBO Max for me. Yeah. But the second biggest problem, like, I guess they're tied. HBO Max is the first fucking thing that pisses me off. And me giving my money only to be, like, shot in the back out here. Like, that's the first thing. Like, I supported you. Like, look what you guys did to me and my $150. Hopefully we'll make that money back during Ruby season. Okay? The second thing, though, it is the gray stuff. And I'm concerned. Like, I'm just concerned about it and what they decide to do, because I don't know. I've seen a lot of things. Like, I didn't talk about this because I never got to make the second video, and part of that was because, like, I was ignoring school and all of this stuff just to look at all these emails I was getting and the Twitter things, and I was trying to put stuff together, but it was starting to seriously starting to impact my own mental health, because people started messaging me about, like, how they, like, felt depressed during Genlock, how they were suicidal during Genlock, how they tried to kill themselves during Genlock.
I thought you meant people watching it, not people working on it.
No, I'm saying the people were Hunter.
I have reading comprehension.
I'm
Please
saying
continue.
the people that were working on Genlock, not the people that were watching, like, not just the viewers. I'm talking about the people that were working on Genlock. So I'm like, obviously, Gray's gone. And if they're started on a second season, Gray's been gone. Mm-hmm. Right? If that makes sense. And so it's sort of like, I just don't want to profit off people suffering. And that's what we sort of talked about before. Like, it feels icky to do more videos about Genlock, because obviously we get paid, we get Patreon money or whatever, like, to profit off of Genlock, when Genlock has hurt so many people and caused so many people to have all these, like, you know, mental health challenges and all this stuff. Because before, what we reported on was bad, right? But as soon as people started, like, messaging me about that other stuff, like, about their, sort of the state of their mental health while working on Genlock, like, that fucking, like, messed with me, man. And I don't know, like, if people feel better now working on but it's just, like, Genlock as a whole, like, Genlock still caused that to an extent.
Well, a person
you know
working
what I mean?
on
Yeah,
Genlock
I know.
caused it.
I
I'm
know.
excited for a new season.
Oh my god, Hunter, we're talking about something serious.
I think it's a good show, and that if it's now created more ethically, I will have significantly less baggage going into it.
Yes.
Just as how they have made Ruby more ethical in recent
And its
years
production
now.
and
Yes.
stuff like that.
And I feel like
Hunter's just
now
like, after this whole video.
talking like, and I feel like putting pressure on a company is good.
Yeah.
I think that not a lot of what we do is contributing in any way meaningful to any conversation ever. However,
that time we did something that was...
potentially frying Rooster Teeth for unethical practices is a good thing, and hopefully that means that there's less, you know, unethical treatment of workers, and we can enjoy what I think were good shows, Ruby and Genlock, and not have to, you know, consider who were hurt in its creation.
I don't even wear my Genlock merch anymore. Like, it's just in the back of my closet.
You offered to give me one of your sweaters for free.
Like, take it, Hunter. Get it out of my sight. No, but yeah, I mean, I can't get excited yet. Okay, I'm just being real. I can't. Like, until I find more information about all of this stuff, it's just sort of like, I can't be excited, at least not right now.
It seems inappropriate to be excited.
It seems inappropriate to be excited.
It
I'm
seems
glad
like
that
hitting on someone at my wife's funeral.
Exactly.
You need a little more time.
I feel like even, like, if the most, like, excitable person in the fandom is, like, conflicted about being excited, I'm talking about Arnold, by the way, it's sort of like, yeah, clearly...
I thought because I was excited about
No,
Genlock.
I'm saying, like, the most excitable person, like, in the Rooster Teeth fandom is, like, questionably excited about Genlock. Like, that should be saying something. Like, Genlock just feels weird, man. And yeah. You know what I hope for and dream? Okay, you know who really deserves everything is Nomad of Nowhere instead of Genlock. But here we are. I mean, that's just
imagine
my
if that
if Nomad of Nowhere was on HBO Max, like, I would know. Like, actually, I would buy it then if it was Nomad of Nowhere.
I love how you were like, what the fuck does HBO have? Sex in the City, The Sopranos, Euphoria, Chernobyl, Watchmen, Entourage. She's like, oh, I don't care about those. But hold up, is that Nomad of Nowhere I see?
Actually, like, I would make
They have Sesame
I would
Street.
make an American account,
They
get
have
a VPN,
Sesame
like, I would do it for you, Nomad, but I'm not gonna fucking do it for Genlock, okay? So yeah, that's it. Now we got to go yell about something else, so we'll see you guys later.
I
Bye.
knocked the camera, now it's wiggling.
Thank you for watching, and thank you to our wonderful patrons over on Patreon who support the channel. Their names will scroll through now.